On Global TV News Prime, National Assembly passes bill to extend 2023 Appropriation Act supplementary budgets. Nigeria National Petroleum Company Limited uncovers another 165 illegal refineries. Katsina records 118 suspected cholera cases. On the foreign scene, Bolivian police arrest mastermind of coup attempts. Death mounts as Pakistan confronts heat wave. And in sports, Australian swimming queen Campbell retires. Hello and welcome to all our viewers in Nigeria and around the world to News Prime on Global Television, coming to you live from the nation's capital, Abuja. I'm William Mofwebe. Tonight, we begin by telling you the Nigerian Senate has denied approving the purchase of a new presidential jet for President Bola Tinubu and Vice President Kashim Shettima, as speculated. President of the Senate, Godswill Akpabio, during emergency plenary session, clarified that there is the presence of a fifth columnist doing everything possible to destabilize the parliament. Sharon Ajay has details. We'll bring you that report in a subsequent bulletin. In the meantime, the Senate has passed a bill for an act to amend the implementation of the 2023 Supplementary Appropriation Bill till 31st December 2024. The implementation of the 2023 supplementary would run side by side to that of the 2024, which stands at 28.7 trillion naira. The passage followed the emergency plenary convened, which was presided by the President of the Senate, Godswill Akpabio, after a clause-by-clause consideration of the bill and after the Committee of Supply. The bill was then read the third time and passed. The 2023 supplementary budget bill was sponsored by the Senate leader Okpeyemi Bamidele for its implementation to be extended. As the proposed traditional institution law controversy rages in Sokoto State, the state's High Court has issued an order restraining Governor Ahmed Aliyu from sacking 2 of the 15 district heads his government had earlier removed from their seats. The order was sought separately by Buhari, Tambowal, and Abubakar Kasim, the district heads of Tambowal and Kebbi, respectively, who are among the rulers removed by the state government on the allegation of insubordination and aiding insecurity in the state. The presiding judge, Justice Kabiru Ahmed, however, ordered the governor, his attorney general, and Sokoto Sultanate Council to revert to status quo, pending the determination of the suit filed before him by the complainants, who were represented by Professor Ibrahim Abdullahi. A federal high court said sincere apologies for that interruption in our broadcast of the news. It was occasioned by technical challenge. Thank you so very much for your understanding. Let's return to our earlier story now. A federal high court sitting in Abuja has adjourned the arraignment of the immediate past governor of Kogi State, Yahaya Bello, till July 17, 2024. Bello is facing a 19-count charge bordering on money laundering, breach of trust, and misappropriation of public funds to the tune of 80.2 billion naira brought against him by the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission. Bello's lawyer, Adeola Adidikpe, applied to withdraw his appearance for the former governor. The federal government and the Academic Staff Union of Universities, ASU, have ended their closed-door meeting with an agreement that all contentious issues will be amicably resolved to avert a strike. The parties also agreed to kickstart a communication process to avert the planned industrial actions by the union. The meeting had in attendance the 2 ministers overseeing education, Professor Tahir Mamman and Dr. Yusuf Sununu, as well as other top officials on the team of the federal government. Leading the union's team, ASU President Professor Emmanuel Oshodoke said the negotiation process had begun with the hope that the federal government would follow up on what has been agreed on. The Nigerian Education Loan Fund has approved the disbursement of student loan to successful applicants. The fund held its inaugural board meeting, marking a milestone in its mission to support students with financial aid. Under the leadership of its chairman, Jim Ovia, the board approved the immediate disbursement of student loans to successful applicants. Nigeria Governors Forum has assured Nigerians and the organized labor that better minimum wage will result from ongoing negotiations. The governors had previously rejected the federal government's proposal of 62,000 naira, stating that some states would need to borrow money to pay salaries. Despite these developments, the organized labor continues to demand a wage of 250,000 naira. The governors chose to hold an emergency meeting after the Federal Executive Council had postponed the minimum wage discussion to allow President Bola Tinubu conduct broader consultations. The federal government has launched an investigation into the alleged unauthorized sale of national identification number following revelations that the personal data of Nigerians were available for purchase online at a fee. The revelation has sparked widespread concern regarding the protection of individual privacy rights and potential economic repercussions. Minister of Communications, Innovation and Digital Economy, Dr. Bosun Tijani, while addressing the issue, confirmed he had begun discussions with the Minister of Interior, Olubunmi Tunji-Ojo, on the matter. The federal government says it plans to conduct a drug use survey as part of its efforts to combat drug abuse and develop preventive measures. President Bola Tinubu said this at an event held in Abuja to commemorate the 2024 United Nations International Day Against Drug Abuse and Illicit Drug Trafficking. He said the survey to be conducted soon would help the government break the vicious cycle of drug abuse, safeguard teeming youth from falling prey to the illicit acts, and ensure proper resource allocation to address the issue effectively. Immediate past Governor of Kaduna State, Nasir El-Rufai, has urged the Federal High Court in Kaduna to quash the reports of the State House of Assembly indicting him of 432 billion naira theft. In a suit filed by his lawyer, El-Rufai said the Assembly breached his right to a fair hearing by not inviting him in the course of the probe. He is therefore urging the court to declare the report of the Assembly's ad hoc committee null and void. The Nigerian Military High Command says its troops have neutralized 2,245 combatants, arrested 3,682 terrorists, and rescued 1,993 kidnapped hostages in the second quarter of 2024. Director of Defense Media Operations, Major General Edward Buba, disclosed this in his quarterly briefing with defense correspondents in Abuja. Kikelemo Okere now tells us more.
Troops of Operation Adinkai in the northeast neutralized over 800 terrorists, arrested over 900 suspects, and rescued more than 500 kidnapped hostages, while a total of over 400 Boko Haram terrorist combatants and their families surrendered. Director of Defense Media Operations, Major General Edward Buba, further stated that Operation Safe Haven and Wild Stroke in the northeast neutralized more than 200 violent extremists between April and June 2024.
Posture of troops secured the release of several of the kidnapped hostages and has significantly curtailed the activities of terrorists and violent extremists operating in the area. During the second quarter of the year, troops of Operation Wild Stroke neutralized 138 terrorists, arrested 377 suspects, and rescued 204 kidnapped hostages.
It says the troops of Operation Delta Safe during the period under review also neutralized 14 violent extremists and arrested more than 400 persons involved in crude oil theft. In the southeast region, the director says the troops of Operation Udoka neutralized over 100 terrorists, arrested over 300 suspects, and rescued over 100 kidnapped hostages.
The troops of Operation Delta Safe maintained the momentum against the activities of crude oil theft during the second quarter of the year 2024. The troops continue to fight and destroy illegal refining sites, as well as arrest the perpetrators of oil theft. The troops of Operation Udoka neutralized 180 terrorists and violent extremists.
The Military High Command reiterated its commitment to keep up with the fighting spirit and maintain the stamina in the front lines. Kikelomo Okeri, Global Television News.
Thank you, Kikelomo. The Economic Community of West African States, ECOWAS, is currently facing hurdles in deploying counter-terrorism forces across the country due to daunting budget requirements. This was disclosed during the ECOWAS Ministers of Finance and Defense meeting in Abuja. The meeting was convened to discuss the activation of a regional force against terrorism and unconstitutional government changes. The gathering was convened following directives from the ECOWAS Authority of Heads of States and Government, which called for urgent action to mobilize resources for a regional counter-terrorism force. Katsina State says it has recorded 118 suspected cholera cases, while the incident management system has been activated in the state. The incident manager and director of epidemiology at the State Primary Healthcare Development Agency, Dr. Kabir Suleiman, disclosed this at a press conference, stating that it is fully prepared to prevent its spread and other vaccine-preventable outbreaks in the state. The State Primary Healthcare Development Agency said it has also activated its incident management system as part of measures taken by the state government to ensure that the cholera outbreak is being properly managed. A non-governmental organization has called on families to join in the fight against illicit drug in Nigeria. Speaking at the 2024 Women and Family Drug Education Program in Abuja, Rejoice Henry Wesley said the program is organized to tackle the problem of drug abuse from a family perspective. Kikelomo Okere brings us details.
Is an issue that transcends boundaries, as such can affect any families, regardless of its socio-economic status, religious or educational background. The convener of the event, Rejoice Henry Wesley, emphasized the crucial role the family can play in preventing drug abuse, adding that the event is aimed to raise awareness about the danger and substance abuse among the young people.
Education reduces the drug abuse, substance abuse by 50%. My advice to the women is for them to stay close to their children, look out for the signs, be their children's friends, so that they don't go out there to make friends with people who are into substance abuse. And for the family, for mothers to also enlighten the children and let them know the dangers of abuse of drugs.
Stakeholders at the event says the event is also aimed at addressing critical issues of drug and substance abuse through education and policy advocacy.
And the reason is that drug abuse is taking over in our society and more women are involved in this. And this is affecting families negatively. With this program, Grace Thomas is bringing in more information from different facilitators and people who have experienced these before, to enable family members of these people using drugs or even people who intend to go into it, for them to know the effect and also for the family members to know what to do.
Any family that is not properly addressed, there will be issues. And so we need, with what they are doing now, at least we have been able to tell the families the things they are supposed to do, the coping strategies that they need to use in case there's any issue, and the way they should talk to their children.
The Women and Family Drug Education Program embodies a strong commitment to fostering drug-free families and communities. Kikelomo Okeri, Global Television News.
Apparently, the fight against illicit drug is for all. Thank you again, Kekalama Okere. You're watching News Prime, coming to you live from Nigeria's capital, Abuja. We are on Star Times, channel 276. Kindly follow us on all social media platforms using @Global TVNG and other handles, as you now see on your screen. When News Prime returns, Katsina records 118 suspected cholera cases. We have details of that story and more for you after this break. To stay with us.
For an insightful idea that takes the center stage and the conversation that gets beyond the headlines, to explore the lasting impact of political decisions, Big Talk got you covered. From policy debates to geopolitical insights, from thought-provoking discussions to actionable insight.
What is the real responsibility of government?
Big Talk delves deep into the heart of the matter. Join us weekdays on global televisions from 6:30 p.m. for a reverting journey into the heart of politics, where we dissect issues shaping our society.
With every government and introduction of new policies, businesses of all kinds and sizes seize the opportunity to evolve and redefine themselves. Business Point on Global Television is where we follow the money and put the facts and figures right in front of you. Watch Business Point every Monday through Friday at 11 a.m. as Kekalama Okere tracks all the latest developments across critical sectors. Business Point. This is business.
Welcome back. Let's take it to the foreign scene now. As temperatures rose in southern Pakistan, so did the body count. The Eddie Ambulance Service says it usually takes around 30 to 40 people to the Karachi City Morgue daily. However, over the last 6 days, it has collected some 568 bodies, 141 of them on Tuesday alone. While it is not clear what the cause of death in each case is, the rising number of deaths came as temperatures in Karachi soared. Bolivian police have arrested the leader of an apparent attempted coup as after the presidential palace in La Paz was stormed by soldiers. Hundreds of troops and armored vehicles are taking up position on Morillo Square, where key government buildings are located. One armored vehicle smashed down the main gates of the presidential palace, allowing soldiers access. Palestinian ambassador to Nigeria, Abdullah Shawesh, has accused the United States of leading a new political, economic and military world order, which the Palestinians are currently suffering from. Ambassador Shawesh stated this during a media interaction with journalists in the nation's capital, Abuja. Anthony Mamodu tells us more.
The Palestinian ambassador to Nigeria, Abdullah Abu Shawesh, says the report by Washington Post reveals that the U.S. has supported Israel with a $6.5 billion in security aid since October 7, 2023, and killing 37,718 Palestinians.
It is a war to establish a new economic and political order around the world. Anyone who dare to challenge the new order, relying in democracy, human rights, the United Nations, international law, and the endless list of classical tools that have been blind the eyes of southern country for a long time, will face the fate of the Palestinians.
The Palestinian ambassador Abdullah Abu Shawesh expressed sadness with the killing of 1 million women and loss of dignity by girls, and called for sincere investigation by the international community and the United Nations relevant agencies.
Citing Save the Children, Israeli forces have dropped 75,000 tons of explosive, the equivalent of 6 nuclear bombs, on Gaza, turning homes, schools, hospitals, and places of worship into rubble. At least 10,000 people are reported missing under the rappel presumed death.
Last week, Republic of Armenia recognized the State of Palestine as an independent and sovereign nation. Thus, it is hoped that other nations and international community will push for the end of the sufferings and killings of innocent Palestinians. As the conflict in Gaza enters its 265 days of Israeli genocidal war against the Palestinian people, Anthony Momodu reporting for Global Television.
Anthony Momodu there following developments for us with regards to the Gaza conflict. Let's take you back to our earlier story now. The Nigerian Senate has denied approving the purchase of a new presidential jet for President Bola Tinubu and Vice President Kashif Shettima as speculated. President of the Senate, Godswill Akpabio, during an emergency plenary session, clarified that there is the presence of a fifth columnist doing everything possible to destabilize the parliament. Sharon Ajay has details.
There were reports that President Tinubu was seeking the National Assembly's approval of funds for the purchase of a new presidential jet. The President of the Senate says the procurement of a new presidential aircraft is false.
Run the Senate by answering people in the social media, because the social media is garbage in, garbage out. I was in Zanzibar attending to Inter-Parliamentary Union meetings when that information went out that the Senate President has said he will approve a brand new plane for the President, irrespective of whether there is suffering or no suffering. There was never a time such a statement came from me, because I've never had any correspondence to approve a plan or not to approve a plan. And I did not want to answer, but they went further to generate it, and then they went wrong as if I was saying that I did not care about the Nigerian people, I did not do this. We care about the President, we care about the Nigerian people. We will approve things that will benefit the Nigerian people. We will approve things that will improve the living standard of the people. At the same time, we will also take cognizance of the duties of Mr. President. If his vehicle is bad, we will repair the vehicle. If his plane is bad, we will approve money for the repair of the plane. So that is not an issue. There is nothing before us.
The senators had cut short their recess, which was to elapse on July 2nd, 2024, and returned for an emergency session to consider a bill for an act to amend the 2023 Supplementary Appropriation Act to further extend its implementation to December 31st, 2024, as requested by President Tinubu. Sharon Ajay reporting for Global TV.
Well, thank you so very much, Sharon. Junior hospital doctors in England have begun a 5-day strike a week before a general election in which the state of the public-funded National Health Service, NHS, is a major issue. It follows nearly a dozen similar actions by doctors below the specialist consultant level over the last 8 years. NHS is grappling with a massive backlog caused by the COVID-19 pandemic and worsened by the repeated doctor strikes. An increasingly dissatisfied public also face long waits to see a doctor at their local surgery, in addition to delays associated with operations and starting cancer treatment. And time to join Ogochukwu Mobuno for an update from the international scene. We'll bring you that story later in the bulletin tonight. But let's take a look at business for you in the meantime. The domestic crude oil supply crisis that recently led to accusations and denials in the oil sector may warrant an investment plunge in the industry. Operators at the Lagos Chamber of Commerce and Industry said the crisis may oil companies and investors in refineries. This came as a section of the 650,000 capacity Dangote Petroleum Refinery caught fire, sparking reactions on social media. However, allayed fears about the incident, as he stated that the situation had been put under control, adding that no one has harmed by the fire outbreak. In the past week, the Nigerian National it uncovered another 165 illegal refineries in various locations across the Niger Delta. According to an NPC documentary, between June 15 and 21, about 400 incidents of oil theft and vandalism were reported by both the government and private security agencies. It said that 69 illegal in Bayelsa and River States alone. It noted that no fewer than 8 cases of oil spills owing to vandalism or illegal connections were reported across the region. Sincere apologies for that interruption in our broadcast. Let's return you to a previous story now. Kano Electricity Distribution Company has dragged the Manufacturers Association of Nigeria before High Court of the Federal Capital Territory, Abuja, over what it calls unlawful interference, resulting in revenue losses up to the tune of 5.3 billion naira. The lawsuit is counteraction by the distribution company following the rejection of the new tariff hike by the manufacturers. Kano branch and its over 41 member affiliates to boycott payments of the new tariff to the power distributor through a court injunction the association obtained on behalf of maximum demand consumers on Band A in the 3 states of Kano, Katsina, and Jigawa. The Central Bank of Nigeria says it will discontinue the foreign exchange price verification system portal used by importers from July 1. It also noted that the price verification report will no longer be a requirement for the completion of a Form M, which is a declaration of intention to import physical goods into Nigeria. Chung Anamel Joseph now brings us entertainment news.
For over a decade, Nigerian rapper Olamide has dazzled listeners with his music, which has earned him a status as one of the greatest Nigerian artists of the modern era. Olamide announced a new project on his social media account yesterday. The project was released hours after the multi-award-winning rapper made a surprise performance at Davido and Chiama's wedding. The 7-track project is titled Ikigai, which is a Japanese word that means reason for being or life's purpose. On the EP, Olamide features YBNL superstars Fireboy and Asake on track 3, Uptown Disco. He also teamed up with former YBNL associates Fields, Young John and Neil Cash for track 7 titled Synchro System. The project becomes Olamide's 10th solo project and 15th total project, which further stretches his discography as one of the biggest in Nigerian mainstream music since 1999. Among Olamide's discography is the album Cape Dime, which holds the distinction for being the most streamed album by a Nigerian rapper on Spotify Nigeria. In 2023, Olamide released his 9th solo album Unruly, which holds the record, which delivers the hit track Ginger, Trumpet feature CK, and New Religion feature Asake. Olamide's status as a hip-hop icon, hitmaker, and successful label boss is captured by the historic award-winning feats he has achieved over the years, including being the most streamed African rapper on Spotify, With his new album, the artist, who in 2023 became the first Nigerian rapper to be nominated for the Grammys, continues to add new pages to his legacy in Nigerian music. Drake is a global superstar whose music has multiple awards and garnered billions of streams, making him one of the most successful artists of the digital era. Drake previously tied Justin Bieber's record of 15 songs when No Guidance, his hit collaboration with Chris Brown, crossed the billion-stream mark. Rihanna also recently joined Drake and Bieber on the 15th song mark after The Monster with Eminem surpassed 1 billion streams. Drake has now leapfrogged both artists to become the record holder for most songs above 1 billion Spotify streams after his hit Hold On We're Going Home crossed the 1 billion mark. Drake is poised to extend his record as he has 5 songs with over 960 million Spotify streams, with Block Boy JB's Look Alive edging closer to the 1 billion mark with 983,712,956 streams. Drake has been in record-breaking mood recently as he became the first artist to reach 100 billion stream across all credits on Spotify, in a feat that captures his status as the biggest rapper in the world. After the release of his 8th solo album, For All the Dogs, in 2023, Drake winner tied Michael Jackson's record of having 13 #1 Billboard Hot 100 hits after reaching the summit of the chart with First Person Shooter feature J. Cole. The Grammy winner also holds the record for the most #1 album on Billboard 200 this century after breaking the tie of 13 albums he previously shared with Taylor Swift. Among some of Drake's biggest songs in the 2013 global hit single One Dance feature Wizkid and Kyler, which has over 3 billion streams to become one of the most streamed songs of all time on Spotify. Chung Anamel Joseph, reporting for Global TV.
Thank you, Chonganamel, for helping to lighten up the mood on tonight's news. Now, let's get some excitement from sports. Manchester United are interested in signing Ademola Lookman this summer and are willing to put in an offer of 60 million euros to get him, as according to reports in Italy. Lookman enjoyed a spectacular season at Atalanta, including scoring a hat-trick in the Europa League final against Bayer Leverkusen. It was a triumph which saw Lazio win their first place of continental silverware. This iconic display capped off a campaign in which the Nigerian winger netted 17 times and registered 10 assists across all competitions. Spain says it will send 313 police officers to Paris to bolster security for this summer's Olympic Games as France remains on high alert following attack threats. The officers, including bomb deactivation experts and sniper dog teams, will be deployed in response to a request from France for foreign assistance with Games security. This according to the Spanish Interior Ministry in a statement on its website. Former Prime Minister of Georgia, Bidzina Ivanishvili, has pledged to give £8.4 million to the nation's football team after they beat Portugal at Euro 2024. Georgia, managed by former French defender Willy Sagnol, overcame Portugal 2-0 in Getchen for the last 16 stage, where they will face Spain. He founded the ruling Georgian Dream political party and became Prime Minister of the country in 2012, saying the win against Portugal is a historic and dream victory. One of Australia's most celebrated swimmers has announced her retirement from the sport after failing to qualify for this year's Olympics in Paris. Kate Campbell announced that it was time to officially say goodbye to the dream she had since she was 9 years old in a social media post on the week after bowing out of the Australian Olympic trials in Brisbane. Campbell missed out on what would have been her 5th Games team when she fell short of qualification for the 100-meter and 50-meter freestyle events. A veteran of 4 Olympics, he has won 8 Olympic medals, broken several world records, and is one of the most recognizable faces in Australian sports. Ellen Thompson-Herah, the two-time Olympic champion in the 100-meter and 200 meters, will miss the Paris Olympics with an Achilles injury. The 31-year-old Jamaican, a five-time Olympic gold medalist, sustained the injury at the New York City Grand Prix on 9 June and had to be carried off the track. Thompson-Herah, the only sprinter other than compatriot Usain Bolt to win multiple Olympic titles in both the 100 meters and 200 meters, was aiming to defend a 100-meter crown after choosing not to race in the Jamaican 200-meter trials. To end Global TV News Prime, let's take a quick look at some of our top stories. The National Assembly has passed a bill to extend the 2023 Appropriation Act and supplementary budget. The Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited has said it uncovered another 165 illegal refineries. Katsina State has recorded 118 suspected cholera cases. And in sports, we told you Australian swimming queen Campbell now set for retirement. And that's it on News Prime, and it came to you here on Global Television from Nigeria's capital, Abuja. We're on Star Times, channel 276. Remember to follow us across all social media platforms using our Global TV NG and other handles as you now see on your screen. I am Uyag Mofwebe saying a big thank you to you on behalf of the entire team here at Global Television in Abuja, Nigeria. I'll see you again.